Welcome to Tuesday. I'm Jason DeRusha. This is the CBSN Minnesota Morning Update /734. Grab that coffee. Is this what this says in here every morning? There's a lot of words in here. I read some of them. And so, like, I've got the teleprompter here in front of me with all the things that they would like me. Like, there's a whole group of people back there. Just, these are the things I want Jason to say today. But it does say this: grab that coffee. And let's tell you, I don't know what else it says. Sean's gone past it, but why don't we show the weather?
Heather reads the coffee.
Oh, there's the prompter. There it is. Yeah, can you bring it back, Sean, and show people? Right, there it is. Yeah, grab that coffee. This is quite the behind-the-scenes moment. We could just run this the whole time, and I could go get a coffee. I wouldn't even have to read it. You guys could just read along. All right. Don't give away all my secrets. I'm reading words off a screen. Here's the weather. Another kind of garbage day, right? Should be in the mid-60s for a high. That's what we'd expect this time of year. It's going to be nice by the weekend. Friday looks good. Saturday, mid-70s? Yeah. Looking great. Tuesday, kind of Tuesday. Let's talk about this. If you're looking for a new job, you know, you're prepared to talk about your experience, your education, how you're a can-do team player, all of that sort of corporate mumbo jumbo. But you may have to talk about the COVID vaccine. Wall Street Journal writing about some examples all around the country of new requirements and job postings. And if you guys see this here, I'd love to know about it. But the article found a hospital in Houston that's now mandating vaccines, not just for the new hires, for existing employees. And they say if you don't have a good reason to avoid the shot, they can suspend or even fire the employees. We're seeing this in new job postings where they're saying, hey, we are looking for fully vaccinated people. Because a lot of companies want the employees to come back into the office. So we want to know, or if you work in a manufacturing plant, especially where you can't necessarily social distance and that kind of stuff. So what do you think about employers mandating that employees get the vaccine? I just want to go on record and say I think everybody should get the vaccine. I think the safety record on the vaccines is impressive. The technology is great, and I will be getting my second vaccine tomorrow. So I'm very pro-vaccine. So leave your comments. But when it comes to an employer mandating it, it's sort of interesting. So I'm curious what you think. I don't quite know what I think about it, so I'd love to hear your thoughts. We'll share some coming up. Minnesota is trying to make it easier to get a COVID-19 vaccine, and so many opportunities now. You may have been frustrated with this vaccine connector. Remember the website? You kind of sign up. They ask you a bazillion questions, and then they're supposed to email you and say, like, okay, now you can get a vaccine. And then it was sort of like the Hunger Games as people were trying to get vaccine appointments. Well, that's over. The Hunger Games aspect of this is over. If you want to find a vaccine, it's pretty easy. And now you can do it through the vaccine connector because there are a couple of state locations where the state is giving vaccines. And so go to WCCO.com, go to the vaccine connector, and make your appointment. Go get that vaccine. In just a few hours, there could be some new mask rules for people who are fully vaccinated. I think some people have wondered, like, what is the deal with outdoors? You know, what are the rules about this? And obviously, these are guidelines. You can do what you want. But a lot of us have been following these guidelines and taking them very seriously. So we're looking for that from the CDC and the White House today. So stand by for that news. Young people in West Virginia can cash in from getting vaccinated. I kind of like this approach better, right? The incentive instead of the hammer. So here the governor is offering a $100 savings bond to anybody 16 to 35 who gets the shot. This is a good idea, right? Roughly half of the state's eligible residents have at least one dose, but we're really trying to get the young people to get vaccinated. So why not? $100 savings bond. Great. Minnesota first grader has died from COVID-19 complications. This is such a sad story. And a reminder that COVID-19 is a virus. It's unpredictable. And just like in certain years, you will have a healthy person, a healthy young person die from the flu. This can happen, and it has. This little girl went to Parkside Elementary School in Marshall. The state says no underlying health conditions. Superintendent says district's doing everything according to the Department of Health guidelines. They're not going to change what they're doing, so they will still continue in-person learning at this time. But our thoughts to the family. So sad, but indeed a reminder that this can and will happen. It is very, very rare to have this sort of a result in such a young person. Students at Plymouth Middle School are distance learning today, a day away from the building after they were in the school and a classmate started firing a gun inside that school building yesterday morning. Boy, this could have turned out so much differently all the way around, right? All the kids are okay. And hopefully this young person who brought that gun and fired it into a hallway ceiling, that's what school authorities are telling us, hopefully this young person will get the help they need, right? Because this kid has a bright future, like any young person, and they need help. Nobody was injured. The student was taken into custody. A source in the district tells WCCO that it was the assistant principal, Kim Royston, who got the student to drop the gun, was able to subdue him. School resource officer went to work, secured the school, went into lockdown. Officials still trying to figure out what the motive was for this. But either way, like I said, you know, that young person needs some help and needs some compassion for the young person and the family, and questions about how that young person got the gun as well. A reminder, if you do have a gun, to have that secured, because your kids can grab it. You've got it in your bedroom drawer or whatever. It's not safe. Minnesota narrowly avoided losing representation in Washington, D.C. Here's the math here. 435 seats in the House of Representatives, right? And they just divide them up by population. How big is your state? You get the most. Every 10 years, we do the census. The state has been saying how important it is that all of us stand up and be counted. And boy, was it ever. Minnesota got to keep all 8 congressional seats, but just barely. If 89 Minnesotans hadn't filled out the census, one of our seats would go to New York. New York missed it by 89 seats. That would have impacted our federal funding, and somebody would have lost their gig. One of the 8 U.S. reps would have been out, would have had to rearrange their districts. Look at this. Minnesota growing way faster than Wisconsin. Our population grew by 7.6%. Wisconsin over the last decade up 3.6%. I sometimes get nervous about hitting a deer on the road, especially this time of year. You start to see the deer kind of darting across the highway. In central Minnesota, perhaps you should be concerned about hitting a bear. Cynthia Thompson and her friend Tyler were driving on Highway 25 towards Brainerd, and look what happened to their car. Holy moly. That SUV rolled several times into a ditch, hit some trees along the way, because that's what happens when you slam into a bear. Cynthia and Tyler escaped that car. They climbed out a back window, flagged down a driver for help. This happened in the dark of night. Cynthia said it was a total shock.
We didn't even have time to slow down or nothing because we didn't see the bear or anything. So we hit it going 70 miles per hour. And with that impact, it literally felt like we hit a brick wall or we went head on with another car.
I'm sure you would just have no time. And look at what the road looks like. So dark. And the black bear. The car was totaled. As Cynthia said, she just bought it. She's got a minor concussion, a sprained ankle, some bad bruises. Tyler, very sore. I think the newsroom's been sort of fascinated by the fact that they asked Cynthia if she wanted to keep the bear. But this is like standard. This is how this works. Like if you hit a deer, they sometimes ask you, do you want to take the deer? Because you can take, otherwise somebody else has to come get it. So you can take the deer for venison. And I guess you could take the bear for the same. They said, no, we're good. We're good. Wildcat Sanctuary in Sandstone, great place to retire if you're a cheetah. His brothers are the only known cheetahs to call Minnesota home. Sanctuary says, these are some of our more veteran citizens. They're older. They used to live at a zoo in California, and now they are retiring in beautiful Minnesota. Are you a Fortnite fan? Do you play Fortnite? I wonder how many of our Facebook viewers are Fortnite. Where are we dropping, boys? That's what you say to your buds as you're playing Fortnite. Starting tomorrow, the video game will feature their first NFL player because, you know, Fortnite is all about the dances, right? Minnesota Vikings wide receiver, Justin Jefferson. Remember when Kirk Cousins tried to do the gritty? And it was like the worst example of a dad trying to do a touchdown dance. Jefferson, the first NFL player to have a locker bundle, which includes the gritty emote, which is the dance, some skins, some gear to wear, which is what the skin is, and some other stuff in the locker. Jefferson says he's been working on this for a while. He said he's been playing Fortnite himself ever since the game debuted 4 years ago. I think Jefferson is 21. So, of course, he's a Fortnite player. What a thrill for him, right? Yeah, dreams come true. Absolutely. So congratulations to Justin Jefferson. And good stuff. Okay, let's talk about vaccinations as far as a job requirement or a job listing. That's what we're talking about on this Tuesday morning here on the CBSN Minnesota Morning Update. Joanne, this is new ground, but I think it's okay for employers to mandate the vaccine, especially people physically returning to work. Yeah, it's a safety measure meant to protect the health of employees and clients. Thanks, Joanne. Here's Simon. I think in certain fields, yes. I work in the hotel industry. Boy, yeah, that's a great point. Come into contact with so many people. Maybe if you don't, there could be a waiver. And Simon just had his second Pfizer. Congrats, Simon. I'm going to have my second Pfizer tomorrow. Jenny, I think the vaccine's a personal choice. No one should get fired for not having it, but I think it's okay to recommend it or ask an incoming new employees. Jenny, that's sort of where I am on this. But I will say, like, I know a guy who owns a coffee roasting facility. They have about 10 employees, 12 employees. And the other employees said, look, if everybody's not vaccinated, I don't know if I want to keep working here. Thought that was interesting, sort of the employees forcing it. Oh, our director, Addie, gets her second on Thursday. Cool. Kevin, employers take responsibility for workplace health and safety. Yeah. If vaccines are part of it, they can require it. Yeah, for sure. You know, if you are so emphatic that you don't want the vaccine, I suppose, I think it's tougher to fire someone. You know what I mean? But we're an at-will employment state. If you're not in a union, you don't have much recourse. And that says I think employers should mandate the vaccine. And schools as well. Yeah, Annette, it's a health thing, not political. We've seen some colleges starting to mandate it, and I think that's perfectly appropriate, right? One more comment from Nancy, who says vaccines are well, I think she means personal choice, but in this case, they are a personnel choice. So everybody's right there. Thank you guys for your thoughts on this. I think it's really interesting. It's sort of new ground, and it's a tricky one for sure. We value freedom so much in this country and personal choice that sometimes doing something that's best for the whole community is a little tricky for people to navigate. Get your vaccines. Go to that Vaccine Connector website, sign up, and I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you before I get my second vaccine. Will I see you the day after? We'll see what the side effects are like. Thanks for watching, everybody.